Welcome back. This is Let's Play Sonic 2006-2012. My name is Kaz, and I was surprised last time that the video ended kind of prematurely, but I guess we're finally into a new area of the sand pit, so let's resume. 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, this is much longer. Huh. Okay. Guess it makes sense that they cut it then. Alright. Um, way it goes, I guess. Hmm. Oh no. Oh, jeez, and you can... Death. It's a hole. You fell in a hole. Ah, I take joy in your pain. I really hope the entire episode isn't this though. That would get kind of old. Oh boy, 4 touches. Are you ready? Wait, that didn't count that time? Hmm. Challenge. Yes. One box is going crazy. I think this was before we met Kyle, actually. Oh hey. Really went moving that time. Why have none of the others done that? Yeah. Reset that. Throwing things in the garbage. I don't think when anyone said that they enjoyed Sonic 2006 or Sonic 2006 was fun that they were talking about this part. Again, they're probably not talking about this. Yeah, the entire episode is gonna be this. Man, maybe I'll cut in some of the... No, no. I have to watch this. I have to see how they figure it out. That's pretty good. That was a good shot. Yeah. Golf and all that. That was too much of a bank. Oh, now that's reification. Come on. Wait, reification? You know, reification is a more fun way to say it, so I think I'll go with that. Reification. Please say yes, actually, because that would be pretty good. So you don't keep getting frustrated. Time just keeps counting up, and you are in purgatory. That's probably pretty good. Put some English on it. Man. I'll bet there are games that are entirely this, right? Like, physics puzzles are a thing in life. No, that's a rather long chasm. Nope, no ramps. Ha. Well, except for the starting ramp, huh? Hmm. Shoulda thought of that. This is a very special kind of tedium. I mean, it gives you the illusion that it's really your fault when something happens. It's like, oh, well, if you had just done it better, then you'd be out of here by now. That kind of thing. That's really sneaky. They're switching off. Oh, man. Oh. Maybe that means that I should switch off. Hmm. Alright, a fresh perspective. Someone who is not extremely frustrated. Well, not yet, anyway. 21 minutes in. It's all been leading up to this, hasn't it? Man. Alright. It's good. Good first bit. I mean, the first part isn't difficult. No, let's... Who puts pits anywhere anyway? Like, I mean, in real life there are sinkholes, and that's about as close as you get to a bottomless pit. Damn it! You said the thing that I said again! Ah, I just... I was about to say I should stop talking, but really that defeats the purpose of this whole exercise, so I guess I'm just gonna have to suffer myself. Suffer under the fate of saying the same things that your friend said 6 years ago without even realizing that that is the case. Ugh, guys. Why you gotta be gross? Oh, I know what he's talking about. Alright, so there are these wrist rest things that you put in front of keyboards. And if you take the little gel thing out of them, you get a fun little sticky toy. And it's better than any like toy version of the same thing ever. It's pretty good. They're very dangerous too because you can store a lot of energy in those things. Doing all right here. Okay. Oh. No, I think I'm gonna. I am. No, I am going to cut in some something else, so you'll get to listen to that. I'm still gonna watch this. So yeah, we'll finish it out. I'll help you find who you're looking for, the silver hedgehog declared to his pink companion. Her short pink quills danced in the sudden wind as she nodded her head. The red dress she wore swayed lightly in the breeze. These two companions are none other than Silver the Hedgehog and Amy Rose. Both met in Soliana. Amy had mistaken him for Sonic, while Silver had spied what he was looking for. The female had insisted on working together, while the male had never met anyone so pushy. The sun bounced down on the two, making their journey incredibly hot. No clouds provided any relief, water was scarce, and the light wind only thickened the heat. "Come on," she said suddenly. "Sonic was here. I can sense it." The male let a small chuckle escape his lips as he watched her dash into the desert looking for this Sonic. He was looking for the Iblis trigger. She was searching for a person named Sonic. Two of a kind. Small grains of sand washed their way onto his boots. Shaking his feet lightly to get rid of the... to rid them of the sand, Silver suddenly heard a cry. Silver! Amy! His mind recognized the voice immediately, scanning the sand dunes. Silver's heartbeat accelerated when he didn't see a spot of pink and red. Where are you? The hot sun created heat waves across the area, making it even harder to find anything. The male heard the cry again, this more urgent. Silver, come here. The male sighed as he started in the direction of the voice. What am I doing? He questioned himself. Silver needed to find and kill the Iblis trigger as fast as possible, or his world would forever be destroyed. Then, if he had to do that, why did he agree to the pink hedgehog's suggestion? The way she had asked for his name when they first met, he had never had someone clutch his hand like that. He could have been a killer, yet she trusted him. He could betray her, yet she still wanted him to come along. Amy was a mystery. The intense heat seemed to make the air heavier and harder, making it difficult to breathe. Walking over the last sand dune, he finally spied the pink female. She had her back to him and was looking at something beyond Silver's viewpoint. What is it? He questioned, coming up behind her. The female spun around, startled by his sudden appearance, and, loosening her red headband. Fixing her headband, she turned back to what she was looking at. Look down there. The male leaned forward and squinted his eyes to see through the sand and colored fog. A sudden gust of wind revealed what Amy was looking at. Instead of more ground behind the fog, there was 100 feet drop into a valley. All around the valley were the same rock walls that had formed naturally, fooling all who stepped too far and lost their footing. If the two had continued this way, they would have suffered the same fate as the others. Bones of those who didn't lined the walls. Built inside the valley were huge, crumbling ruins guarding some secret. Whoa, whispered Silver, at loss for words. Sonic went this way, muttered Amy, the wind flicking her bangs into her face. That's impossible, Silver announced, hearing what the female muttered. Nothing on this earth could have survived that drop without the ability to fly. The pink beauty snapped out of her trance and glared at Silver. You don't know Sonic, then. The male suddenly felt a growl rising in his throat, but hid it by turning his back on her. Why did every other sentence she said have to include the word Sonic? What was so great about him anyways? What could Sonic do that he couldn't? Great. He didn't even know this guy and was already hating him. Wait. Why did he hate Sonic? Why was he jealous? Wait a second. Who said he was jealous? He had gotten mad because of Amy mentioning Sonic. Amy's voice interrupted his thoughts. There's no safe way for us to get down there, though, as far as I can see. The male turned to see his companion, who was examining the walls around them. She actually does look pretty cute. No, Silver, get your head in the game. Focus on the mission. Besides, she's from a totally different time. Finishing her survey, the female stood up. I guess we'll just have to find some other way to get down there. Suddenly, she felt Silver grab her hand. What? Dragging Amy near the edge, Silver examined the drop. We'll levitate down. Now the female was really confused. Levitate? But that's impossible. As far as she was concerned, all that junk about levitating and stuff was just a bunch of myths. The male turned to her, still clasping her hand with a smirk that reminded her of Sonic. Only this smirk wasn't so cocky, more like a sweet grin. Releasing her hand, placed his smooth hand around her waist, clasping him to her. The female felt herself blush as his other arm gripped her shoulder. Amy immediately encircled her arms around his neck, pulling herself close to his chest. "Hold on," he whispered. They were now so close that the words brushed against her ear. Before Amy had any time to react, her companion jumped into the air. The female was about to let out a scream, but soon realized that they were falling at a much slower than normal pace. Amy looked to the ground, then to the blue aura surrounding them, then to Silver. The male had that same sweet grin on his face, concentrating on their fall. Amy was baffled at first, and then tried to find a logical explanation to all of this. Finding none, the female gave up and decided to enjoy the ride, snuggling closer to Silver. The male felt heat rise up to his cheeks as Amy laid her head on his white patch of fur. He responded by tightening his grip on her, wishing for a longer fall as the ground came closer. The warmth between the two's embrace sent shivers down both of their spines. Soon, Silver's feet touched the ground, and the blue aura faded. The companions released their grip on one another, each wishing that the fall had lasted longer. Flicking a grain of sand from her dress, Amy looked around the valley. It wasn't really a valley, more like a deep pit with large walls. The had landed right outside the ruins. "So, you have special powers?" she questioned, turning to Silver. The male nodded, sort of. He didn't really want to say any more. Back in the future, his powers had made him an outcast. He stared at the floor as he remembered those times. "I think that they're cool," Amy suddenly said, rocking back on her heels. The silver hedgehog's head shot up. "You do?" The female nodded. "I mean, we just levitated. Nobody else I know can do that, and that's really cool that you can." Silver nervously rubbed the back of his neck. "Thanks." An eerie silence befell the two. "Look!" Amy shouted, breaking the silence, and pointing to the ruins entrance. The male looked to where she indicated. Standing at two sides of the entrance were two heavily armed robots. Amy shook her head. Sonic must have come this way. Otherwise, Eggman wouldn't have a reason to guard the entry. The male nodded his head. He had no idea who this Eggman was, but he decided that his questions would not be answered now that Amy knew Sonic had come this way. There must be a secret entrance underneath it or something. So, how do we get in? "Leave it to me," the pink beauty declared. "I'll distract them so you can sneak in. I'll met up with ya halfway in." "You sure you can handle those guys?" the male asked, looking at the robots again. Amy nodded. "They can't hit what they can't see. Now you go wait behind that fallen pillar. I'll give the signal when you should go." Crouching behind the pillar, Silver peeked out from behind to see Amy. The pink hedgehog was not there. Suddenly, the male heard a crash of something metal. Looking out, he spied a flash of bright pink light near the guards. "That's the signal," he thought, slipping into the ruins. Halfway in the ruins, 1 hour later. The male hedgehog collapsed near the checkpoint. These ruins may look small, but they were huge on the inside. Eggman had sure gone out of his way to set up all these traps. I mean, come on. Seas of sand with timers that told you how long you had till you drowned in sand. That was too much. Sighing, Silver looked around for Amy. He didn't spy any red and pink female. His heart started to gather speed. What if Amy hadn't made it through? What if she had gotten caught in one of the traps? What if right now she was screaming for help with all of her life? The hedgehog sprang up and was about to go back and check all of the traps when he heard a female voice call his name. He squinted his through the darkness of the halls, trying to make out anything. Just then, a red and pink dot appeared. Silver let out a sigh of relief as he saw that she was safe. "Silver!" she called again, rushing forward and screeching to a halt in front of him. Regaining her breath, she let a cheerful smile cross her lips. "Are you okay? I was worried about you when I saw all of those traps. You're hurt." "Huh?" Silver followed her gaze down to a deep gash in his arm. Oh, he had spent so much time fighting Iblis that pain by now didn't seem to affect him. "It's just a scratch." "Just a scratch?" Amy echoed, tearing a piece of her dress off and ushering for him to sit down. "Here." Plopping down next to him, the pink hedgehog gingerly took his arm and began to wrap it in the cloth. The warmth of her touch sent lightning up Silver's body. "This is all my fault." "What?" Siler questioned. "How can you say that? It's not your fault. I was careless." "Yeah, but if I hadn't made you help me look for Sonic, you wouldn't have to come here in the first place, or get hurt." Amy finished her work by tying the two ends in a small ribbon. The male gave a small chuckle. "I came here on my own will. Besides, it was fun traveling with you." The pink beauty felt a blush creep onto her face. Really, her jade-green eyes seemed to sparkle as Silver gazed at her. "Sure, and we're not done yet." Standing up, the male offered his hand to help Amy up, which she gladly took. "We still have to get out of this sand trap. Come on." Still not releasing hands, the two traveled deeper into the ruins. Near the end of the ruins, 30 minutes later. "Whew! That last trap was one of the most difficult ones," sighed Amy, leaning on her hammer. "Yeah, I mean, who creates balls that you have to levitate to the door while avoiding the others to smash the door open?" Silver agreed, shaking his head. "Look," the pink beauty alleged, pointing down the hallway. "A light! That must be the exit." The male looked to where she was pointing. Sure enough, a white light streamed its way through a passageway. "We've reached the end." The female bounded forward ecstatic. "Come on, Silver. We have to find Sonic." The silver male chuckled at her peppiness, but was unable to share in her happiness. Reaching the end would mean that we would find Sonic, and that meant that Amy would leave him. True be told, along their journey, Silver had unearthed some emotions for the pink female. She could be pushy, clingy, annoying, and she had a huge hammer. But Silver loved her. Loving her meant that he accepted her flaws and strengths. The male couldn't help but wonder if Sonic felt the same way. Following Amy, Silver kept his head down, but put on a cheerful smile whenever she looked back on to check on him. All of a sudden, the ruins started to shake. The shaking gradually grew until it was a huge earthquake. Chunks of rubble crashed to the ground, cracking the well-preserved floors. "Amy!" Silver shouted above the noise, worried for his loved one's safety. "Here!" came a soft yell. Dashing past the crumbling walls, not thinking about his own safety, the male found his companion clutching the ground in fear, her eyes closed. Kneeling down beside her, Silver gently placed his hand upon her shoulder. Amy immediately recognized who it was and threw her arms around his neck, crying in fear. "Silver, what's going on?" The male wrapped his hand around her waist, shushing her. "I don't know. Looks like a sudden earthquake." The pink beauty buried her tear-stained face into his chest, tightening her grip on his neck. The silver male clutched her waist to him. Soon the roof would collapse on them, crushing them. Without warning, huge chunks of the roof fell to the ground. Acting fast, Silver used his free hand to form a psychic shield above them. The rocks hit the shield multiple times, battering Silver a great deal. The female raised her face to watch the rocks fall, but only hit the shield. His face showed that he couldn't keep this up much longer. It took a lot of energy to create and hold up a shield. Yet, she never wanted Silver to get hurt protecting her. She had dragged Silver into this mess, got him hurt, and yet here he was, putting his life on the line for hers. The only question was, why? Just as sudden as it came on, the quake stopped. The last few rocks fell and hit the ground. The male put down his shield, still clutching Amy to him. The two observed the damage done. The walls were almost completely gone, as was the ceiling. 3/4 of the ground was covered in fallen rocks, cracking it completely. "Silver?" Amy suddenly asked, looking from the damage to the gray hedgehog holding her. She unwrapped her delicate hands from his neck and placed them on his chest, making him slightly jump at the contact. "Why did you save me?" "Because I love you," was the answer Silver wanted to say, but he didn't. He had a perfect chance, and yet he chose not to take it. Why? Because he was afraid. As far as he knew, she loved Sonic, not the time-traveling hedgehog. She saw him as a friend, nothing more. Pushing the intense emotions aside, he said, "We're friends, aren't we? Friends don't let other friends die." He released his grip on her waist. The pink female's heart suddenly shattered. She wanted so badly to slap him for breaking her heart. She had wanted him to say those 3 words that she had never heard. He was probably in love with that Blaze that he mentioned earlier. She loved him, and he only saw her as a friend, nothing more. Pushing aside her emotions, she plastered a fake smile on her face. The pink beauty let her hands fall from her companion's chest. "Come on, let's get out of here." With that, both hedgehogs bounded towards the exit. Little did they know, words were left unspoken. True memories left undone. Feelings yet to be released. Forever, those memories, feelings, words, and hopes will remain here, in desert ruins.